You know, when you think about iconic video game worlds, Fallout has to be right at the top of the list. It's one of the most enduring post-apocalyptic settings ever created, and somehow it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
And when I say bigger, I mean huge. Just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, Fallout 4 sold over 33 million copies, not over its lifetime, in the first 24 hours. That's not just successful, that is a certified grade-A blockbuster franchise.
Okay, so that brings us to let's call it the central mystery of this whole explainer. If this series is that massive, that successful, then why is the one game that most hardcore fans, the diehards, consider the absolute pinnacle, the best of the best,
On sale all the time for just 99 cents? I mean, seriously, it sounds impossible, right? But I promise you, it's true. And stick with me, because by the end of this, you're not only going to know exactly why, but you'll also know how you can snag what might just be the single best deal in all of gaming. No joke.
All right, first things first. For anyone who's maybe new to this whole universe, let's do a quick primer. The world of Fallout is this amazing, weird blend of 1950s American optimism and style, nuclear-powered cars, robot butlers, the whole shebang, that then smashes head-on into the brutal, gritty reality of a post-nuclear apocalypse. It's dark, it's surprisingly hilarious, and trust me, there's absolutely nothing else like it.
So the history of the series is basically split into two big eras. It all kicked off back in 1997 with a company called Interplay Entertainment. They're the ones who laid down the deep, complex role-playing foundations. Then, in 2007, Bethesda Softworks took the reins and completely transformed it into the first-person epic that most people know today. But, and this is really important, so keep it in the back of your mind, a little later on, a special one-off game was made by Obsidian Entertainment, a studio filled with a bunch of the original creators. That's going to be a key piece of the puzzle later. Now, at the absolute core of every single Fallout game is something called the SPECIAL system. And look, this isn't just about your typical combat stats, okay? A high intelligence score can unlock brand new, sometimes game-changing dialogue options. Meanwhile, if you play a character with super low intelligence, well, you might literally just grunt and mumble your way through conversations. The point is, how you build your character fundamentally changes your entire experience of the world.
All right, so to finally crack this 99-cent mystery, we've got to do a little ranking. Let's start at the bottom of the modern list and climb our way up to the absolute peak. And along the way, we'll see exactly what each game brought to the table.
So, kicking things off on our countdown, we have Fallout 76. And let's just be honest with each other. This game had one of the most disastrous launches in modern gaming history. For real. It was buggy, it felt totally empty, and people absolutely roasted it. But that is not where the story ends. See, to their credit, Bethesda stuck with it, and years, literally years of updates have completely transformed the game. It's got NPCs now, branching dialogues, a mountain of new content. So here's the bottom line. If you want a massive, beautiful wasteland to explore with your friends in a multiplayer survival game, it's actually fantastic now. But if you're looking for that classic, deep, single-player Fallout story, yeah, it's still the weakest of the bunch.
Okay, next up, we have the behemoth, the blockbuster itself, Fallout 4. Now, this one is probably the most controversial game in the entire series for longtime fans. And the reason is simple. It really streamlined a lot of the deep RPG mechanics to focus way more on being a fast-paced action game. And look, it was a very clear trade-off. The shooting? Oh, it's easily the best in the series. The gunplay feels fantastic, it's responsive, it's just plain fun. But the dialogue system got simplified down to a 4-option wheel that a lot of the time just boiled down to yes, no, sarcastic yes, and question. It really stripped away a lot of the nuance and choice the series was famous for. So yeah, it's an amazing action game, but a pretty unsatisfying role-playing game for many.
All right, now let's get to the top contenders. We're heading back in time to the games that literally built this entire franchise. These are the old-school isometric classics from the Interplay era. And for a lot of people, these aren't just great Fallout games, they're masterpieces of the entire RPG genre, period.
And here it is, the OG, the one that started it all, the original Fallout from 1997. The setup is so simple. You're a vault dweller, you've lived underground your whole life, and you're sent out into a terrifying, unknown wasteland to find a single computer chip to save your home. But that simple mission just spirals into this incredibly complex story with consequences that shape the entire future of the wasteland.
I mean, the vision for this game was just light years ahead of its time.
The choices you make have real weight. There's no simple good guy or bad guy path. And the main villain, the Master, my God, he's not just some monster, he's philosophically terrifying. You can actually have a conversation with him and kind of see his point. It's this game that set the dark, morally gray, and deeply intelligent tone for the entire series.
Then, just 1 year later, can you believe it? The sequel drops, and it basically took the amazing formula from the first game and just injected it with steroids. The world is bigger, the humor is way weirder and sharper, and the story is just bonkers in the best possible way.
Fallout 2 is absolutely legendary for how dense its world is. Every single town is just crammed with memorable characters, wild quests, and bizarre secrets. The writing is just chef's kiss. It's on a whole other level. It can be heartbreakingly dark 1 minute and then have you literally laughing out loud the next. It's probably the series' high point for pure player freedom, even if, gotta admit, its old school vibe can be a little tough for newcomers to get into.
And that, my friends, brings us to the #1 spot, the game that perfectly married the big, beautiful 3D world of Bethesda's engine with the deep, reactive, and brilliant storytelling of those old-school classics. We are finally at the answer to our 99-cent mystery.
The best Fallout game, according to a massive, massive portion of the fan base, is Fallout New Vegas. And honestly, this little table right here tells you the whole story. Just look at that fan score, a 9.8. That's not just good, that is legendary. It absolutely demolishes the others. And yet, there it is. The typical sale price, 99 cents. It's just an insane, unbelievable value.
So okay, why? Why is this the one? Well, it really boils down to 3 core things. First, the writing is just the sharpest in the entire franchise. Second, the world is unbelievably reactive. Your skills, your choices, your reputation, the game remembers everything in a way no other Fallout has matched. And third, the factions. They're not just good guys and bad guys. They're complex, flawed political groups with their own ideologies, and you're dropped right in the middle of their conflict.
And get this, for that 99 cents, you're not just buying the base game. Oh no, you're getting the Ultimate Edition. That includes 4 of what many people consider to be the best DLC expansions ever made for any role-playing game. Each one is a totally unique, brilliant, story-driven adventure that adds dozens and dozens of hours of top-tier content. The amount of game you get for that price is just staggering.
Okay, so you're sold. I don't blame you. You've spent your dollar, the game is downloading. Now what? Well, let's switch gears and give you a quick and dirty survival guide to make sure your first trip into the Mojave Desert is as awesome as it should be.
All right, a little heads up. The game is built on a slightly older engine, so it can be a tad unstable on modern computers. But don't worry, the fan community completely solved this years ago. Before you even click New Game, just install these 2 essential free community patches, the New Vegas Anti-Crash and the Unofficial Patch. Together, they get rid of almost all the bugs and crashes and make the game run like a dream. Seriously, it'll take you maybe 5 minutes, and it is absolutely worth it.
Now, for your character. If you want to experience the best part of this game, the incredible writing, here's the pro tip. When you're making your character, pump your intelligence stat up to at least an 8. Why? Well, it gives you way more skill points every time you level up, and it unlocks unique and often hilarious dialogue options you'd never see otherwise. Then, make sure you tag the speech skill. Trust me, you will be blown away by how many dangerous situations you can talk your way out of without ever firing a single shot.
So, there you have it, the whole story. Fallout New Vegas is a genuine masterpiece of game design. It's a high point for writing and player choice that you can own, complete with all of its incredible DLC for like less than a cup of coffee. The wasteland is waiting for you. And as the saying goes, war never changes. But in this case, the price sure as hell does.